We all learned in school that it often takes thousands, even millions of years to erode away a big mountain or make a big lake, right?
That's true. That's true.
Well, that's why the story of Lake Thistle is so amazing. 42 years ago, people driving through Spanish Fort Canyon got a surprise overnight.
Well, they did.
There was a new lake forming, an old mountain disappearing right before their eyes. Craig Worth, you worked on this story.
I do remember that. It all started in April of 1983, and by this time in May of 1983, a new lake was 170 feet deep. The town of Thistle was gone, the highway was gone, and the state had a big mess. This is Spanish Fort Canyon, a peaceful vista of mountain scenery. Well, part of that beautiful vista fell down April 13th, 1983. It was a landslide that wouldn't quit sliding no matter what anyone did.
It's moving something like 1 to 2 feet an hour.
Crews worked 24 hours a day trying to pack it down, trying to do about anything, but it just kept growing from pressure below. In a seemingly unbelievable few days, the slide reached 130 feet high. Worse, it dammed up the lazy little Spanish Fork River, which was little no more. It made a reservoir 90 feet deep within days, and it all kept getting bigger. Just ask the senator.
It's just far bigger than you can realize from any reports or pictures that you get.
Ask anyone who was working on the slide.
Such a massive amount of earth that is still moving. The earth we're standing on is moving.
The newspaper was right. It changed by the hour. And the reservoir shoreline also grew. The town of Thistle was now in that growth. 4 days later, it was time to move. No, not just move, it was time to run. There was no choice, and there was no turning back at this point. And it all kept getting worse. Now pretty much all was flooded to window level. And a day later, only roofs were showing. And the water kept coming and coming. It was one of the wettest winters ever, and it was all rising to the surface. Officials turned to the best weather computers around. Nothing seemed to fit any model. The state geologist said that there was nothing like it at any time.
There are anomalies that we're trying to examine.
Meanwhile, the bulldozers kept bulldozing, and it goes without saying the road was closed, for it was over 100 feet down and also in the lake, now 130 feet deep. And what about the train tracks? Well, Utah's coal was also not moving. The tracks were now under the mountain and the lake. The Denver and Rio Grande Rail made a diversion tunnel. The state figured out it needed to build around all this. But meanwhile, the lake was now 170 feet deep, with a pretty nasty shoreline. The next solution was to pump and pipe. The pumps were put on a barge. Now these were not small pipes and pumps.
We have 5 centrifugal pumps. Each pump pumps approximately 22,500 gallons a minute.
And that's pretty much how they got rid of 14.5 billion gallons of water. So today, if you travel through what was Thistle, you will see some strange sights. They are remnants of Lake Thistle. See, nothing like this should have ever happened in Utah. And you wonder, just as our officials wondered. After all, this is a pretty dry state. And it would cause Governor Matheson to give us one of the best quotations of all time. This is a hell of a way to run a desert. Sure, you will see parts of the slide from a road that was built anew, and you will wonder, how did this all end up underwater? What happened was pretty much summed up by the newspaper. Once a town, now a lake. And if you didn't have the pictures, you just couldn't have imagined it today. For as we know, in Utah, near record snowfall plus warm weather can equal floods. And this certainly was the extreme case.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
No,
It was just like they came around the corner and the people just stared and they go, what happened to the road?
Yeah.
What happened to the mountain?
Where'd the lake come from?
Yeah, it just nature does that every once in a while.
Yeah.
Something phenomenal. And it isn't going to happen now, is it?
Well, not now.
this year.
Well, if it did, I'd have to have your report on it, Craig. You did such a fine job back
Well,
then.
in 42 years, let's see how I'll do.